I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. (2018) Aston Martin
DB11 V12.
The biggest motor we could find.
That's right, because there's two turbos tacked onto a V12 as well.
This also comes in a V8.
Yes, and we should probably explain that because Mercedes has bought a 5% stake in Aston Martin, and the V8 that you can get in this is actually an AMG-based V8. This thing sounds incredible though. This is an Aston Martin V12.
The V12 has thrust, the V8 has power.
That's right.
So let's get into horsepower and torque.
600 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, yeah.
This thing is definitely fast.
Oh, it's ridiculous fast for the size of this Grand Touring mobile.
But you know what it also is? Gorgeous.
Oh, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Before we talk about the looks, we got to give a shout out for where we got the Aston Martin.
Yeah, so thank you, Alec Ackerman at Aston Martin Uptown, Toronto.
He's actually got a cool YouTube channel with all things Aston Martin. Check out the link in the description. Looks.
Stunning. Back to that.
Okay, Aston Martins are always gorgeous.
They are.
And they're James Bond cars.
Yes, they are, specifically the DB line.
Yeah, and they don't shy away from being related to 007 at all.
No, let's get to one of those things right now. The tires, they're Bridgestone S007s.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
As for DB Aston Martins, do you think this is the best looking DB?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the older ones look better, but
I did like the DB9 a lot.
But this one looks more future.
Exactly. This is where Aston's going. This is the design language going forward for the next 100 years.
I think it looks really good, but I still kind of like older Aston Martin looks a bit more. But I really, really like everything about this one.
They're always classy, and this is still classy while being future classy.
Hey, what's your favorite part about the looks?
The curly Q.
Curly Q?
Yeah, that thing on the front fenders, that's called the curly Q.
Okay, which part is the curly Q?
The top part.
Above the tires?
Yeah, that thing.
Okay. Yeah, I like how it's not a solid line around the fender. It's disconnected. And the hood pops up the reverse way.
Yes, it's a reverse clamshell, and that hood is actually a soft close hood.
That's so luxury.
This car is so damn luxury. I think we should spend a lot of time talking about the materials and everything in here because everything is so top notch.
Yeah, but back to the looks.
Yes.
What I also really like, we got that traditional Aston Martin grille, but we got this huge splitter at the front.
Oh, it's massive.
It's so big, but the car sits kind of high.
It does.
But it has a good stance, so you don't have to worry. You can just drive around carefree.
Yeah, it doesn't have a nose lift system because I honestly don't think it ever needed one.
Because this is a Grand Touring car, not a super crazy sports car, even though it is a super crazy sports car.
Exactly. This is a supercar. We don't really have time for a supercar test today, but it is a supercar.
The doors kind of go up.
They kind of go up. They have that Aston Martin go up thing.
So explain that.
They're actually hinged at about a 30-degree angle, and they're power assisted, so they're really light to open and they're really light to close.
It feels extra fancy, and that's all that's important in a car like this.
It is so fancy.
The next thing I really love about the looks is the body lines.
Oh, yeah.
The body lines are like very crisp.
That's what I was gonna say.
Very calculated, and like they reflect on old Aston Martin, but like new Aston Martin. You know it's an Aston Martin.
For as futuristic as it looks, you still know it's an Aston coming at you from any angle.
I really like the rear quarter panel area where the roof matches the quarter panel.
Yeah, and they also have that floating roof design thing.
Yeah, I like the black little gap between there. I think it looks really good.
And we also have this thing there that channels air. It's called the Aeroblade. So it sucks in air beside the window, pulls it back, and then mimics an actual spoiler because they didn't want to put a massive spoiler on this thing, so it does the same amount of downforce as a small spoiler would.
And if you open the trunk, you can actually see the vents where it comes through.
It's so cool.
But we do have a spoiler.
Yeah, it's very, very small.
It pops up just a little bit when you're ripping it, but enough if you're close enough, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's very, very small. You can get a couple different types of wheels, but I do like these wheels. They're very aggressive. And we also have black Aston Martin brake calipers, and they're huge.
I really like the wheels on that orange convertible in the showroom.
Oh yeah, that was pretty nice.
The convertible looks weird though.
Yeah.
Top down, but it's good.
Yeah. I do like these wheels better though. We also have V12 badges on the side, and those are an option. You don't have to get them. You can delete them.
How often do you get to see new Aston Martins on the road?
Not very often, yeah. We've gotten so many thumbs up for being in a silver car. It's still a silver Aston Martin, so everyone appreciates it.
Okay, let's talk about the paint.
The paint actually has glass in it.
Yeah, and it's very reflective, very bright. It really highlights all the body lines very well.
For silver paint, which is traditionally not our favorite color, this looks amazing.
But they do have so many other cool paint colors, and like they've got that Q book. What's that?
Q is like their crazy colors and specs. Like you can get orange ones and green ones and all that kind of stuff.
And
not the gray and different gray and lighter gray.
And why is it called Q?
Because of James Bond type stuff.
Yeah. Go through that book. I'll show you some stuff. It's got the coolest features ever. I want like green on green, green orange, orange blue green,
teal on teal.
The brochure pretty much has people matching Aston Martins to their houses.
Yeah, that's so next level.
That's how serious people are.
Yeah.
Headlights and taillights.
They're both amazing.
The headlights are very cool. They've got a nice cool outline in the daytime running light mode. The normal headlights are actually super bright and they look very cool too. Look very expensive.
Yeah, the taillights are so sharp though. I love the tails.
Yeah, the taillights. The way they've got body going through them looks very good.
And you can actually get red ones, but we have the optional tinted clear ones.
I don't want to talk about the infotainment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know what?
So predictable.
Luxury cars, they're unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get for the infotainment.
You're predictable.
Oh, I know, but they're not.
Okay, one thing that I would like to do before we talk about the infotainment, a visor test.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Nothing.
Nope.
We have the most luxurious visors I've ever seen. We have metal chrome clips, and we have a leather cover over the mirror.
They're very fancy.
So fancy.
Probably the fanciest.
Yeah, this is a supercar, so that gets a pass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. So viewers out there, if you had to guess what kind of infotainment from what other car this is, what would you guess?
Here's a hint. 5% stake from Mercedes.
GLA, SL63, AMG GTC infotainment.
It is the older Mercedes style infotainment.
Which I think is completely whack, but the people buying this don't care about that, and it's sufficient.
It's so simple to use. No one cares about that. No one wants to see this or that on their infotainment. They don't care.
I know.
It just works.
But we do have like the S-Class, E-Class scroll wheel.
It's exactly lifted from that. It's pretty funny.
But more leather wrapped.
Yeah, oh yeah, way more leather here.
So it won't rewind satellite radio stations, whatever.
Yeah.
We do have a pretty good 360 camera, reverse camera, monitor where your wheels are camera, which is super important because you don't want to scratch anything up on this car.
Yeah, it's very good and it's very high def, just like Mercedes are.
We don't have a volume knob. We've got volume touch buttons, and then we got a lot of piano black Porsche style buttons.
Tons of piano black in this car.
But rich people don't care about that. They like piano black because somebody else cleans it.
I fully agree. This is the type of car that no one's going to care about cleaning their own car in. So piano black gets a full pass in this because there's a ton of it. All the way down the center console, which is already collecting dust, but whatever. And then this entire door panel is basically gloss black. But you can spec that with wood, whatever you want.
Around the gloss black, we got a lot of leather, but it's black leather.
Tons of black leather.
I don't like black leather. I
What?
feel like they all look the same, and I can't really tell the quality. I mean, everything feels perfect.
You can't tell the quality of this leather?
I can tell the quality, but
Okay.
I'm just saying, like a brand new, not Aston Martin could probably pass for very similar quality from your looks.
I disagree. From looks maybe, but not from touch.
Yeah, but if it was brown, then maybe I could like get a better feel for how the materials actually are.
You can get a full brown one. You can get whatever you want. You can get white if you wanted to.
I get that green on green. You know which green I like.
Yeah. There's so much leather on here. The entire dash. You touch anything, it's just soft leather everywhere, all the way up to the glass.
Everything you touch is quality.
Yeah,
That's
even the roof. The roof is leather,
Ceiling,
guys.
Ceiling.
Yeah, sorry, ceiling.
Or is it the headliner?
No, it's a roof. Headliner.
Headliner, yeah, whatever.
The upper part.
Our armrest actually slides forward and back because gimmicky James Bond stuff.
Yeah, so there's actually a button that you press. You don't actually have to do it manually.
High society. I love the Aston Martin on the headrest.
You can change that. You can actually make that say DB11. You can have that embossed. You can do whatever you want.
And we've got rear seats that doesn't look like anyone could ever fit in there, but whatever.
Yeah, that's just to make this a 2+2.
Think about it. If you didn't have rear seats there, it'd be empty. It would just look weird.
Exactly. Super weird.
Decoration.
Yeah, maybe for your children, probably not.
For your suitcase.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about the gauge.
Go for it.
We've got our digital speedometer in the middle, our gear indicator, and our tachometer right around it.
Which is exactly what you've always wanted in a car.
It's very clear, very perfect. And
I love it.
And when you go out of sport mode, it changes to something more red or whatever.
Yeah, we have 3 different drive modes and it changes between them.
Very simple, clean, elegant, not cluttered. And on that note, I'm going to let you drive your Aston Martin.
Oh, thank you. As you are predictable, so am I. Full send. It's so fast.
This thing's silly fast.
It is pure thrust. There's a little bit of lag, but it's not real lag because you still have a V12, a 5.2 liter V12.
I don't remember feeling any lag.
Yeah, it's just lag because the tires are trying to get traction. It's not even any other type of lag, it's just traction lag.
No, that's fine.
This does 0 to 100 kilometers in 3.9 seconds.
That's really fast.
Yeah, this is a front mid-engine rear-wheel drive with an LSD, basically what you want, minus a manual transmission, but we do have an 8-speed ZF transmission. It is a regular auto, not a dual clutch.
So they're cramming all kinds of cool sports car stuff in a Grand Touring car.
Yeah.
But I mean, Aston Martin does like a lot of racing.
I think this is one of the fastest shifting ZF transmissions that I've ever driven. I don't know how they do it. They must tune them differently because they're all ZF transmissions. They're all the same 8 speeds, but something changes between every manufacturer.
Maybe it's in your head. Maybe we need Mythbusters or someone to bust that for us.
I don't think so.
Maybe we'll be the new Mythbusters.
And maybe.
Car busters.
The paddles, they are not connected to the steering wheel.
Yes.
The first car that we've driven without paddles connected to the steering wheel.
I think I prefer on the steering wheel, but this doesn't bother me.
I think so too, because your hands are always at 10 and 2 when you're using paddle shift cars anyways.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be shifting mid-corner, so it shouldn't affect you regardless. The paddle shifters themselves feel so quality. You can actually hear the metal.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That is. And what happens if you hit both of them at the same time?
We go into neutral because that's what sports cars and race cars and everything fast does, so that we can give people revs.
Yeah. Anytime a kid looks at it, anytime you get a thumbs up, you have to rev at somebody.
But I haven't found a way to get back into drive other than pressing drive over here because we have buttons for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, the shifting is pretty cool. It is buttons, it's old school, it's classy.
And we have our engine start stop right in the middle, super classy.
We also have a pretty fancy key.
Yeah, we do. It's not as fancy as the old crystal key, I don't think, but it still looks pretty nice. And it's got some heft to it.
Some heft.
So we've got 3 different drive modes. We have our handling drive modes on the left. So if I press this button over here on the steering wheel, we have GT, we have Sport, and we have Sport Plus. Sport Plus is quite stiff. I've actually been enjoying GT mode the most.
Yeah, I don't think you need it.
Yeah, I don't think this should have a Sport Plus for suspension.
It should have it, you just probably aren't going to use it.
Fair enough. Now we also have those same different drive modes for the engine, and they're independent of each other, which is amazing. So if I press the right one, it says S. I have Sport, Sport Plus, and GT mode for the engine as well, and that changes the exhaust tone. This thing sounds amazing in Sport Plus mode. It's so loud.
Give it a rip, give it a rip.
It sounds so good.
That's luxury sound.
Yeah.
None of this SVR tomfoolery.
None of that.
None of this AMG crackle tomfoolery.
It is so classy and such a smooth sound because it's a V12.
They probably designed it to sound good in James Bond movies.
Probably. We should also mention that this is the DB11. The last one was the DB9. They technically skipped the DB10 and only made it for James Bond Spectre.
That's pretty badass.
That's so cool. That is dedicated to James Bond.
You know I love my movie cars, right?
I know.
I love anything cinema related with cars, and it's so cool that they worked so closely together.
Yeah.
Just like Mitsubishi worked closely together with Too Fast, Too Furious.
That's right, and put in Subaru WRX sounds for their Mitsubishi.
Yo. Movie cars are movie cars.
So like I said, we do have a mechanical LSD to pull us through the corners. We also have torque vectoring. This thing handles so well for being about 4,100 pounds.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'd do too much handling with this if I had it. I think I would just roll up places in style.
Pretty much, but if you wanted to, this handles so well.
They couldn't make this not handle well.
Yeah, if you want to take a really long road trip, pretty much all the way across Canada, I would probably want to take this.
And then take a couple hard turns in between.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you get out of Saskatchewan.
Lots of full sends in Saskatchewan.
Oh my God. Full send the whole province.
Yeah, shout out Saskatchewan fans. Speaking about that exhaust, those exhaust tips, they look so cool.
Okay, I like the part around it, the metal part with all the holes. I think that looks wicked.
Yeah, just so you guys know, that is actually metal, it's not plastic.
And you can actually get darker tips and stuff like that.
You can get gloss ones, you can get matte ones, you can get whatever you want. But you know what I hate about that rear end? And it's nothing to do with Aston Martin.
Yeah, I know.
The bumperette.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. That is Transport Canada's fault, I believe.
Yeah, Transport Canada should also get rid of front license plates in Ontario because they are anti-environment, because they cause drag, and over as many cars on the road that they drive every year, it ruins the environment. Can you floor it for me?
Sure thing. Take that, Transport Canada.
Okay, and in the reverse camera, you really see those bumperettes, and in the front camera, you really see that front plate.
Yeah, the bumperettes in the reverse camera are hilarious. Actually, really annoying, but hilarious.
But the front plate looks pretty decent for like having to incorporate it.
I know we've already talked about the infotainment, but there's one thing that I forgot to mention. This can actually be deleted.
No.
Yeah, there's an option to delete the top touchpad and only have the scroll wheel.
That's amazing.
I know.
I'm actually like, because I don't need this.
No, I know. You get a leather bump so that you have a leather bump to rest. Yeah, I know.
I would rather have that.
That's crazy. That's the kind of level of customization that you could do to these things.
Because like, I'm not going to use a trackpad, right?
Exactly.
What they need to start doing in like Mercedes is deleting trackpads and putting in scroll wheels.
Yeah, they're doing the opposite though.
I know.
The biggest thing about this whole car is how luxurious it feels. Everything feels so damn rich.
You didn't talk about the feel of the steering wheel.
It is a weird square-shaped steering wheel, which is kind of odd, but whatever.
Oh, it feels so good in your hands, though.
It does. And the steering feel overall is also amazing. Whatever they're doing, even if it's electronic, feels so good.
I feel like we should be comparing other exotic cars against other exotic cars so we have something to complain about. You know, be like, this Lambo has this Aston Martin doesn't even have that.
That's true.
Do you guys think we should do more exotic comparisons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give people a really good perspective of these kind of very expensive cars.
I think I'd be down for that.
Yeah, okay.
Let's start that next time.
All right.
Exotic comparisons. Let us know which ones you want to do in the comments. But let's talk about the price.
Yeah, $254,000 to start.
Canadian.
But this one is $289,000.
You know, that doesn't even seem that bad to me.
Yeah, I mean, the value's there.
For an Aston, no, but honestly, like.
No, honestly, yes.
For an Aston Martin, who has an Aston Martin?
Not many people.
No, my one buddy's dad has one. He's got a stick-shift
DBS.
DBS.
He has a manual DBS, and those are shooting up in value now.
Yo, Mark, I want to drive that.
Yeah, me too. Mark, shout out.
And your NSX. I know we haven't driven a Lamborghini yet,
No.
but Grand Touring also has Lamborghini there.
Yes, they do.
This or a Lamborghini?
I don't know. I gotta drive a Lambo. I mean, looks-wise, I'm gonna have to go Lambo.
I think everything I'd want more in a Lamborghini.
Yeah, there's just something about Lambos that are just so wild
But
and appropriate for people like us.
what was that new Aston Martin they just got in?
Oh my God.
The green one?
The Vantage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd take a Vantage over pretty much most Lambos.
The new Vantage is so good, like stunning. In lime green, they actually made a lime green one.
We need to do more exotic comparisons. This is getting ridiculous.
I would love to. There's a whole avenue of cars that we've never explored.
So let us know which exotic cars Grand Touring has in stock that you want us to compare against each other. Nothing is off the table. Let us know in the comments.
Don't forget to subscribe, notification bell, hit everything.
Patreon.com/TheStraightPipes and the YouTube sponsor button so we could finally buy our own exotics.
Yeah, if you thought we bought this, we definitely didn't.
No.
Not for a long time, ever.
But I really like driving this.
Yeah, it's really fun.
See you later. I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. This is a subscription break. Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe right now. Subscribe. We didn't do that.